Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video we're going to talk Star Collecting Age of Sigmar Warcry, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Askurgan Trueblades, one of the brand new warbands coming out inside Bloodhunt. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about the contents of the box set for the Askurgan Trueblades, and then take a look at some other warriors we recommend to bring into their warband and expand upon and give you some alternate options to play around with. We'll then finish off the video with a little sample warband of 1000 Renown, like normal, the standard size of Warcry, for you to use as some inspiration for starting your own Askurgan Trueblades warband and really making it your own unique version. And so, with that said, first of all, we have the Askurgan Exemplar. This is the only leader model we have inside the warband, and the Askurgan Exemplar has a couple of its own abilities. First of all, it has access to the Worthy Foes ability, where until the end of the fighter's activation, you add 2 to its move and its attacks characteristic of melee attack actions made by this fighter. This is its quad and the faction's quad ability, so pretty nice. This can up the model up to 5 attacks with at strength of 6 and 4/6 damage, can be pretty nasty. Now we then have the Askurgan Pariah, who has a really interesting ability with his Beast Familiar. You pick an enemy fighter within 20 inch, and that enemy fighter, until the end of the battle round, can't make any disengage actions. A really useful support ability for the warband. Other than that, 2 attacks at strength 5, 2/5 on the damage, and 18 wounds with defense 3 is pretty solid. The Cursed Blood is the wolf lady you see there. Yes, that is a lady. And so, 4 attacks at strength 5, 2/4 on the damage, defense 4, and 25 wounds. Solid for 190 renown. And this also has a Terrifying Howl, which is another fantastic ability. Until the end of the battle round, enemy fighters within 3 inch cannot make reactions from this model. This is fantastic. You move this model in, especially if your opponent's got damage negating or abilities that do damage back to you. This can be a really strong double to use. Now we then have the Askurgan Aesthetics. Now I've probably butchered that name. If I have, comment down below and let me know how you say that. But anyway, you can choose 2 different weapon options for these models, and they either have the Howling Glaives or the Charnel Mace. I mean, the one up the top left, I know it's a female model, but all I think of is playing Dynasty Warriors back in the day and Guan Yu from that. That's all that reminds me of. But enough said about that. The one with the Howling Glaive has 2 attacks at strength 5, 2/5 on the damage. Meanwhile, the Charnel Mace will have 2 attacks at strength 6, 3/4 on the damage. So some pretty consistent damage coming out of that Charnel Mace. Now, you'll seem to notice something. There is a low value of attacks. You have generally quite good hits in this army, but there are generally a low amount of attacks coming out of each model. Now they have access to Perfect Strike, and that ability is also available to your Askurgan Exemplar as well, and this just makes your crits go on 5s. Pretty cool for a triple. We then have the Askurgan Acolytes, and there are 2 different ones pictured here. You can have either the options for the Throat Takers, which are the cool little whips, sort of Kushigama style, or the Bone Hilt Falchion. Now, they all have the ability where they can take Worthy Foes as well. Any of your actual vampires, so not the Pariah and not the Cursed Blood, but any of the others can use that Worthy Foes quad, which is really cool. But they've got 2 attacks on the Bone Hilt Falchion at strength 5, 2/5 on the damage, which is pretty solid for your lowest warrior. And the other one has a 3 inch range on those Throat Takers with 3 attacks at strength 4, 1/4 on the damage, your lowest damage value in the army, but still a nice crit value of 4. And so, where do we look to maybe bring in, first of all, some allies? A couple of heroes I really like. First of all, the Vampire Lord. For me, the ability of the Vampire Lord with Call of the Crimson Feast until the end of the battle round, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of melee attack action made by visible friendly fighters within 6 inch, is just a really powerful ability. Yes, Kurgans lack attacks. That is their big weakness, so having any of these fighters that can bring in extra attacks to your warman, I think is super solid. Now this is a triple, and there are some other abilities from other fighters. I think Abhorrent Ghoul King can do it as well, and some of the Ossiarch Bone Reaper models can as well. The Soul Mason can give out extra attacks. So they're all definite some nice variations, but for me, the Vampire Lord definitely fits sort of the bill of what you're wanting to do. On top of this, though, you do have a pretty strong character. 25 wounds, defense 5, 4 attacks at strength 4, 2/6 on the damage, and you know, you could convert up a really cool Askurgan version of this model. Now, the other character and the other ally I want to talk about is the Spirit Torment. Now, the Spirit Torment is a Nighthawk model. It's got a couple of cool abilities that I really think bring something nice to the Force. First of all, the first one of these is going to be his ability to bring models back to the table with his Spectral Summon, where you can pick a friendly fighter that's been taken down and set them back up with an amount of wounds equal to the value of the ability. Now, you also have another couple of cool abilities as well. You can, with this ability, use a quad for captured soul energy. Your quad for the Askurgans isn't the best, so having another decent quad to use I think is really nice. The Spirit Torment, a fighter can only use this ability if an enemy fighter has been taken down by an attack action made by them this activation, but you remove a number of damage points from all visible friendly fighters equal to the value of the ability, which I think is super cool. Now, you can bring some thralls in with your death forces as well, and I think the thralls for death really do bring something nice. First of all, the direwolves, they're just going to fit that sort of canine, lupine look that the Askurgans have to them, obviously with the Cursed Blood and the Pariah. But your direwolves and your fellbats, both of them will have this ability called Necromantic Bonds. A fighter can make this reaction after an enemy fighter finishes a move action within 3 inches of a friendly fighter with a hero rune mark. This fighter makes a bonus move action. After that move action, the fighter must be within 1 inch of the enemy fighter, and then make a bonus attack, so they can come in and actually attack for you. Once again, getting extra attacks in this warband, which is something you lack. Now, Slavering Charge is the double for the direwolves available to them. A fighter can only use the ability if there's a visible enemy fighter within 6 inch, and they effectively just have to move towards them. Triple for Scent of Gore is what the Fellbats bring to the table, and this is going to allow them to get an extra attack if there's an enemy near them that already has 5 wounds on them. And so here we have our sample warband for you. Obviously, Grand Alliance Death, Warband, Askurgan Trueblades. Now, the leader, we have to take an Askurgan exemplar, but he is really solid. I think when you can get the upgrades and get the abilities rolling on this guy, he can be an absolute beat stick in the game. Now, fighter-wise, we've got an Askurgan Pariah. His ability is just so good. Same with the Cursed Blood. That Howl for the double is insanely good. And then 2 Askurgan Acolytes with Bone Hilt Swords. I've built both models because they look cool, but I really think the Bone Hilt Sword for me is my favourite of the two. That extra power, once you start getting the extra attacks on it, can really be powerful. For an ally, I've brought in a Vampire Lord, and then a Thrall, I've got a Direwolf. If you don't like the Direwolf in there, you can easily just put in another Askurgan Acolyte, but I think the Direwolf, with extra attacks, maybe protecting your Askurgan Exemplar while you're using the Vampire Lord to boost up his attacks, can be a great sort of, I guess, deterrent for your opponent wanting to charge in, because the Direwolf's going to come in and attack them. 990 renown out of 1,000, so pretty sweet on the money. And then 7 activations. You know, there is only 8 models in this warband standard, so we've actually only dropped 1 model. I think as we're starting to see these new warbands come out, we're seeing less and less activations. As you're seeing more sort of specialized troops in each of warband. So 7 to 10, I think, is about the average now. 122 wounds is on the low end of average, but they are on some pretty tough models when you consider our average defense is 4 or 5. I think we've got a really solid warband here. If you would like to comment and like to have some ideas on fighters you would bring in to bring some extra attack power, definitely extra attacks into the warband, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And if you did enjoy the video and you want to say something, leave us a comment down below and let us know what you thought. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our great little community here at Cinderful Gaming, we have a Discord server linked down in the video's description. Also down there in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel if you'd like to do so. You can either grab yourself some merch via our Teespring or Ko-fi stores, which are linked down there, or our Patreon and YouTube members where you can help support the channel, get yourself a shout out, and indeed if you're a YouTube member as well, get yourself some cool emotes to use in our live discussions or indeed on your comments on YouTube. As a special thank you to all our Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer Shot First, Andrew Bowen, The Rising 8, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Nicholas Conomos, Colorblind Magic, and Daniel Etherington. And to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariane Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weir, James South, James Tillman, and Dylan Areno. And lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see here for the channel, and to everyone who helps run our Discord server, all our mods, you're fantastic, and everyone who makes it a great place in there as well, and indeed to everyone who helps come and do the battle reports, and to all our sponsors on the channel as well. Thank you all once again for watching, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.